Hi, I'm Mishan from MoFit. So I'm going to share with you further details about the WTF program, also known as the Weekly Tries Free program. So every week, just do 3 days of exercise for 5 weeks. That's what the program is all about. These programs are not magic program. Understand that this is some training program using some basic training principles. So understand it as a principle. So especially you're new to training, or you've been training for a year or two and not seeing any results, WTF might be able to help you on this one. Adherence, number one, is easy to follow because it's 3 times a week and there is progression. Time goes by, you will notice that there's an improvement on your reps, your sets, and maybe a little bit on the weight. The exercise selection, well, very straightforward. I think most gym will have that, a barbell and a dumbbell. Most of the exercise technically covers the entire body. So the goal is to be stronger. So whether it's to lose fat or to gain muscle, I think everyone can benefit from a good old training by being strong. Considering especially you're losing weight, put it this way, you want to be strong. Because if you're strong, you can do more things. When you can do more things, you can move more weights. When you can move more weights, you can burn more fat. Because there's a lot of movement. As for gaining weight, trying to gain some strength, that's very straightforward. Okay. So the goal is to also have a good physique, and it's also not just train blindly, but also understand those principles as we mentioned. And as always, any training, make sure proper form and technique. Your rep 1 and your last rep of rep 10, for example, should be the same. It should be no change. So before we start, there's just 2 things. So if you're a beginner, you're just new to training, you can skip this part. But if you have been training for 1 or 2 years, you roughly know what your limit is. I recommend you to do this. It's called the RIR, repetition in reserve. So the RIR is basically as follows. So I use this RIR 4 for example. So again, using squat example also. Imagine you want to do 7 reps. So you think of a weight that you can try on, you can do for 11 reps, okay? But you don't go to 11, you do up to 7. So when you do up to 7, you feel like you can actually do another 4 more, but you hold that there. You don't push yourself to failure. Failure means like you can no longer do 1 rep with proper form. The reason why you want to keep these repetitions in reserve to preserve your energy for you to go on the further weeks. So example, if I go to failure this week, what are you going to do next week, right? Because you're too fatigued or you're too tired or it's too overwhelming for you to do it. So using IR might be a good indicator or good start for you to know where your limit is. That is actually most people's problem. When they train, they always train all the way to failure. But if they know how to do it properly, just have keeping some reserve from time to time, they can push themselves very far. Also, take note about one thing. So if you're a beginner, welcome back again. And if you're training for 1-2 years, you would like to sort of take something called a deload, or some knows it as a leg week or taper. By doing a deload, instead of doing like a 3 sets, you're actually doing like 2 sets. You actually cut down the volume basically to almost half or 50%. What does deload do is that on the 4th week, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you'll be doing a lot of work. By week 5, you might be a little bit very fatigued. So the taper week or the deload week helps you to reduce your fatigue so that you can go further. You're not taking a step back. Rather, you are slowing your step so that you can go a bit further. The easiest way I'll put it is as follows. Just imagine if you're a rubber band. If you keep stretching and stretching the rubber band, eventually the rubber band is going to snap. So to prevent from that, we stretch the rubber band a little bit, we let go a little bit. We stretch a little bit, we let go a little bit. This is how training our strength and our muscle works in a nutshell. Don't skip the deload. So some people might say, Mission, why don't we just take a week off? Taking a week off, here's what's going to happen. Your muscle might not be able to adapt of all the trainings that you go out throughout those 4 weeks. I'll give you another example. Just imagine if I were to tie up your hand, right? If I tie up your hand, I don't let it move for 1 week. Then the week after that, I untie your hand. What's going to happen? Chances are your hand is going to have a hard time moving. We don't want to just skip. The taper and deload is like that. You are still doing, but you're doing less so that you can recover to do more in the future. After that, we can just go straight to the MoFit, the WTF program. So you can see week 1, week 2, So you notice check week 1 and week 2, you notice the reps have increased a little bit from 5 to 7, some of them go 6 to 8. For some of those who are like 6 to 8 in the past, will slowly become 8 to 10. So you can see the volume, your reps, your weights, your sets might be going up time to time, week by week in this case. So as always, just a gentle reminder, always do proper form regardless of the weight. Your weight, rep 1 should look exactly like the last rep. There you go, week 4. You notice the sets start to increase. The rep range also start to increase a lot. This is where we are trying to get as much strength as you can. So this one, RIR1, you can see it's almost like going to failure. So you can actually do that. But just make sure, for safety purposes, keep your form right. So after the week 4, if done correctly, week 1 to 4, if you quite fatigued or quite beat up already, this is where week 5 come in and perform the deload or taper as prescribed. Before I end, I also want to share there's a bit of FAQs or frequently asked questions. So allow me to just go through. So some people ask, Mission, can I switch day 1 to instead of day 1, 2, 3 to day 1, 3, 2? Yes, you can, because this program is quite flexible. In fact, you can even do 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's up to you. You can even do it on instead of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do it like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. As long as you can manage your fatigue and you're not stressed when you do your workout, I think that is more important. Second question people always ask me is that when you do all this WTF program, how much weight should I put, even though the IR? My suggestion is go by try and error, okay? Because this is a very huge context kind of thing. Everyone is built differently. The weight that I can handle might not be the weight you can handle. It's going to be very, very individual preference. These, again, are just general recommendations of the rep you can stick around. And the weights, well, it's going to be up to you. Third questions that people always ask, can I repeat the program? My answer is, yes, you can. For example, after week 5, you can actually go back to the week 1 and restart the whole program again. Where you want to do this, eventually this will going to phase off. Again, I don't have a exact number, but I'm expecting most people will last you around 3 to 4 cycles the most. Or in other words, there'll be like 20 weeks, if you will. So it depends on the individual. Again, I don't know much about you, so I don't know. But if you have more specific context, you can drop in the comment. And some also ask, how do I progress? Well, the goal to progress, as mentioned, is because you want to be stronger and you want to see a change in your body. That's how you push for growth. Okay, whether it's to lose weight or gain muscle. So my suggestion is follow. If you want to repeat the cycle, make sure your week 1 is better than your previous week 1. And your week 2, try to beat your previous week 2. Slowly improve from there. I think that is a good start. That should be able to last you for 4 or 5 cycles. And that's it. I think that's the end of the WTF program, the further details. So if you have any problem or questions, you can feel free to comment below, or you can just comment about our Facebook group. We'll catch up next time.